Hello YouTubists! When I took delivery of my bike back in May of 2022, it came fitted with only the basic parts, for I had ordered the poverty spec. Parting with close to €4,000 was as much as I could afford at the time. I have upgraded bits and pieces along the way, as much as finances and the need to have allowed. The bike was more than decent already out of the box. The only thing that I really needed was a new saddle and a dropper seat post. From new, the bike build that I spec'd didn't come equipped with a dropper post, so I bought one. Neither did it come equipped with a creak. Now it seems to have one. Listen. The creak may be one of a few things. It may be caused by worn suspension bearings. They have been ordered, but may take a while to arrive. It could be to do with the crank arm chainring interface. I seriously hope that it isn't. It is most likely, though, coming from the bottom bracket. Replacing the bottom bracket is a quick and easy fix. So, let's do it. My name is Gary. Welcome to One by Bikes. Down. Before we start the build, let's wish Miles a happy ding dong 12th birthday! And let's just annoy Gabriella, she's trying to play a game. Right then. Let us go and see what we can see. Oh dear, that's my workstation. It's just getting warm enough to be out on the terrace. And so I've not been out here. And we have an assortment of boxes and things, tools. Yeah. It obviously needs tidied. So let's do a quick time lapse and I will get tidying. was a voyage of discovery. I actually did find a 10-speed derailleur. Right, this is tidier, I think. Certainly better than it was. It's not perfect. There's that stuff over there, not good, and that stuff over there, not good, and that box that needs to go to the garage or something. But right, let's get on with this fix. Okay, I hope you can hear me. It is windy as hell. Where's that windsock? Sophie and I were out here this morning and it wasn't half as bad as this. But we're out here to do a test. Will my 175 crank be easier to use on the killer hill, as we call it, or will the 165 crank that I'm about to put on be just as good? Now, before we get to Killer Hill, you can have a look out to sea and you can see the wind whipping off the waves there, and you will be able to hear it. I hope the windsocks are working. But down there, our friend Mike from Mike's Bike Rides, go have a look at his channel, excellent stuff, has built another jump. Shall we go hit it? Let's do that. Right, helmet on, snap fasten, bicycle. Now I'm not going to get air off that this time, I'm too close to it, but let's go get air at the bottom. Straight into the wind. Yeah, I tell you what, into the wind makes a difference. I sailed that this morning, but it wasn't windy. Alright, I jump over this, and now let's get to Killer Hill. Okay then, Killer Hill. Now, I am in Eagle gear, so let's see, this is the 175 crank, and as long as I lean over the front, this should be relatively easy. Missing that rock there. Right, the creaking that you can hear is what I want to get rid of. Okay, Killer Hill done. Okay then, the bike is upside down, so it must be ready to have its crank and bottom bracket changed. God, that squeaking was really getting to me. Right, first things first, we need to take the pedals off, and then I suppose I should show you what tools we need. Sketchy blue gloves, absolutely. An 8mm Allen key, that's to take the pedals off. A 2mm Allen key, that is to do the preload adjuster on the Dub crank. We will also need this big thing. This is to take the crank arm off, and that is an 8mm to ½ inch, or ½ inch to 8mm adapter. We will need bottom bracket removal tool. There are different ones depending on what kind of crank you got. Gabby's already got a Shimano crank, and I've got a Shimano crank removal tool, but it didn't fit on a Dub SRAM crank. You will need grease, and you will need a Dub bottom bracket. There we are, focus. And you will need a crank. This one is a SRAM GX Eagle, although that looks more like a pigeon or a hawk at best. It does not look like an eagle, a pigeon hawk. Right, first things first, let's get these pedals off. So I think I need to move bicycle a little bit. so we can give you lot a better view. Right, pedals first. Now, the pedals I'm quite good at because we do it a lot. When we store our bikes, front wheels come off, and yes, that's right. Front wheels come off, and I take one pedal off. That means I can get it really snug up against the wall, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. Right then, so 8mm, remove pedal. There's one. Put that down there. You are also going to need something like that stool, and I will show you why in a second. It's for removing the crank. Yeah. I think when I put this pedal back on, I shall renew the grease on it. That was a certain crack. I don't like hearing that. Yeah, this looks fairly dry. That's the one I take off regularly and grease regularly. And that one looks much drier. Now you see? So that one will be getting greased. Before it goes back on the bicycle, crank off. I'm going to leave the chain on for the time being, well, hooked on, because I don't want it flapping around when I'm taking the crank off. Alright, so put the bike on its wheels. Right, it's balanced, precariously, but it is balanced. Okay, I need my extendable wrench, which I've got here. That needs to come round onto the tool, onto the chair. Oh dear, I'm doing it from the wrong side. I have tried to do this before. I got the crank off and then I realised I didn't have the correct tool. So that needs to go into there. All the way in. That isn't working. Why is it not working? Because it's on the wrong side. If there are mistakes to be made, I will make them. But I'm making them just for you guys. I'll make the mistakes so you don't have to. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right, try to fit this again. Okay. No. Now if I start from there, I'm not going to get the leverage. That's better. Oh, that went rather easily. And the reason it went rather easily is because I've had it off the day before, 2 days ago in fact. So what we can do is we can put the bike back on its saddle and bars. And now I think this should be able to just, wrong side again. Right, I'm not mucking around with you. Now I need to get the chain to just, oops, daisy, dangle there. Now, one of the areas where it may be creaking, if I bring this around here, is in the spindle there. Now, what we're going to do with this crown, because it's still perfectly good and the teeth are decent, is we're going to give this to Miles. Now then, the preload. Okay, this is what we need our 2mm for. And if I bring you over, right, oh that's handy. Now this here, just undo it, tightens the crank so it doesn't wobble. Oops, a daisy. So we'll loosen it off. There we go. And now, you see there, if I move away the dust, there's a plus sign and an arrow. That's to tighten it. So to loosen it, we go in the opposite direction. Like that, you see. Right, and pull the crank out. Try and do as one-handed as, there we are. That just comes straight out. And there you can see. So again, this can come up here and it can live there. I want to keep it away from these so that doesn't get scratched. Very important. Now let's have a look inside here. Where are you? There we are. Dust that'll be pulled through from this side here. Now then, this needs to come off. This is where we are going to need this, which fits over like that. And which is the drive side? So non-drive side first. There. Now it's very important that you make sure that this is properly fitted, because if it slips off, trouble, disaster, pain, expense. Alright, so we've got the bike upside down. Now, this is non-drive side here, and this is going to come off in an anti-clockwise fashion as you stare at the bike. So, make sure it's properly on, hold it down like that, and there. Okay. A long thread, and there, that's come out beautifully. Right, now for the drive side. Now on the drive side we've also got, if I bring you across I can show you, this adapter here. Now that's to put a bash guard on, so we'll see about that once we get this off. That was incredibly loose. I just put my tool onto it. And it moved, so yeah, not good. There's my spacer, need to save that. I'll show you. Spacer came from there. On the other side there was no spacer. Right. Okay, I think I'm gonna, well, we're going to clean this out and then we're going to grease it to hell. But I'm going to come and give you a quick look at this. And let's have a look in here. So there's the bottom bracket. So all of that needs to be cleaned out, which isn't going to take very long. There's my internally routed cables, and that thing there. Ah, right, okay. So there are teeth there. Yep. And that thing just sits on thusly. Excellent. Right then. Now then, we have new crank here, bottom bracket rather, grease, lots of it. This stuff by Muckoff smells of black currants. It is absolutely lovely. Now that looks like a lot. See how we get on. That is a lot actually. But I want to get the inside of this completely lubed up, because if it needs to come off again, I do not want to struggle with it. When I first started mechanicking on my bicycle, I went into our local hardware store to try and get some of these gloves, and they were completely sold out. But that was when the pandemic was still in its full flush. And I said to Sophie at the time, you know, everyone was wandering around wearing masks and gloves and that sort of thing. And I said to Sophie at the time, I bet you when the pandemic is over, people still keep wearing masks and gloves. And there are still a few out there that do. Right. So, let's show you now. Bring you across. Well greased up. So, drive side. And tighten to 50 Newton meters. Now, my little torque wrench only goes up to 30. I've got a big one downstairs in the garage, which goes up to 200. So what I'll do is I'll go good and tight, and then I'll do it properly in the garage. Right, that's good and tight. And the other side. Here we go. Good and tight. Luxury. The GX crank. Now, one thing I like about this crank is the way the arms look. You see that one there? It's kind of straight, where that one's got more of an arc there. I just think it looks more attractive, and it's shorter, you can see there. So hopefully fewer pedal strikes. 2mm Allen key into the pinch bolt, but you can't see anything there. Loosen that. There we are. Now then. God, that's tight. Okay. Right, that's it wound all the way in. All the way out, rather. So, move this take that off, put this on. There were no spaces on that side. It goes straight in like that. There was one spacer on this side. The spacer goes on thusly. We'll see. If it looks wonky and doesn't look right, then we shall look at the spacers. Hopefully this is just a plug and play, a bolt on. So 8mm engaged. And I'm getting grease all over the handle of my Allen key. So what I'm going to do after I finish this is I'm going to go and clean this, because I don't like dirty tools. Yes, I do wash them up. Call me weird, but it's what I like to do. I like them clean. So if I, for example, if I just come to tighten something and I'm not wearing gloves, I don't get oil all over my hands. Right, so I'm grabbing here and opposite force against. So pushing down and pulling up. What we can do is push down on this now and push down on this. In there like that, and as I say though, that will have to be torqued, because I do not fancy that coming loose. Right, that's more or less job done. All I need to do now is put the pedals back on. Right, so here's the preload, that ring there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it until I just start to feel resistance. Turning that. When it starts to become difficult, stop. Right, that's getting difficult now. And of course that would be behind there, but you don't need to tighten it very much. So in it goes. Tighten it down. That's my preload done. So now the crank shouldn't wobble at all. Yeah, not too tight. Just tight, actually a bit tighter than that, Gary, I think. I think it's something like 2 Newton meters, which it ain't a lot. Right. Hello. The children are back and they brought food. Right, so pedals.
It smells like lubricant.
It does smell like, there's a reason for that, Gab.
It smells like strawberries.
Black cherries, or blackcurrant. Right, so
I've got 2 alternatives.
if I come round here, I can show you. Oops, a daisy. So, a little bit there. Turn, 120 degrees, a little bit there. Turn, 240 degrees, get in the middle. A little bit there. Put the chain on now. Right, there we go. Pedal on. Yeah, when you come to remove parts, if they've been properly greased in the first place, there shouldn't be a problem. That's it anyway, it's all done.